Hello, this is an HSP podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Lauber. Thanks for tuning in. Got a hilarious episode coming up with my two buddies, Mike and Chris, talking about our trip to Missouri. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast. Get us to 20 likes and you'll find out why here in the episode. Oh, the episode's still out there for the folks to listen to.
I think so. It's been 2017, 2018, I think was when I was doing it.
No
Then
way.
I started building a house and I said that I'm entirely too busy for this.
It's called, what's the podcast called?
Trad Geeks.
Trad Geeks.
Yeah, Kevin Marrow and Mark Kephart, Punksy and Dubois. They like I asked you about lives near you. They did a traditional archery podcast for quite a few years.
No shit. Look at that. They have a ton of episodes. Holy crap. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I got to talk to like Ed Ashby and Mark Kenyon and a lot of guys who made a lot of traditional bowyers. Got to talk to a lot of those guys.
Oh, dude, this is great. I will have to listen. I didn't know this. We were in the car together for 27 hours. How did you not bring that up?
I was waiting for Chris to do it, honestly.
This was all back when Mike was a good hunter. I didn't want to be negative about it.
Was able to kill deer with a traditional bow. I'm not anymore.
That's sweet. That's cool. I'll have to listen to this. Is great. Did you so you guys just bailed? You guys said, fuck it, we're done.
Yeah, I did before they did. They kept it going on for a couple of years, and Kevin, the main guy, got really busy with his kids' hockey and stuff, and he kind of let it go off. It was a lot of fun when we did it.
That's sick. Well, hey, maybe this is a sign.
Maybe hey, so just a question. Can you guys see my 153 in the background?
I can.
Yes. I like your positioning. That's all that matters. I can tell everybody the story about how you hit it with a truck.
Big strutter too.
Yeah, yes, we can. And this is gonna the live version of this, or should say the video version of this will be on YouTube, so everyone will get to see the buck in the background, Chris.
That's all that matters. That's why Chris is doing this.
Nice.
Nice. All right, sick. Well, let's get started. We got Chloe and we got Chris here. No, I'm just kidding. We got Mike Drew and Chris Kuhar joining. Thanks for joining, guys. We're going to do a little recap of our successful trip out in Missouri.
Positive.
I think it was successful. I mean, we made it out there and back safely.
True.
We saw some ducks. We saw a lot of geese. As far as if we had to eat what we killed, we would have starved. So I would say that was kind of unsuccessful, but there were a lot of us. So the teal might not have made it too far in dinner.
Fortunately, there was a Pizza Hut nearby.
There was a Pizza Hut nearby. Just want to do a little recap. We did go out with us three, and then also Tony and Matt were also a part of the trip, but unfortunately, Matt doesn't know how to work Google Meets, and Tony's a little scared. I'm not sure why. He's been on here before. He did record a podcast, and we are going to release that podcast if we can get to, I'm going to say 20 likes on YouTube. So goals for you guys and all the listeners, if you want to listen to, I'm going to call it Tony's hit piece. It'll drop a week after we get the 20 likes on YouTube. So it's kind of a big task. I mean, the YouTube likes don't get a ton of those, so it should be
we'll get it there, believe me.
Oh yeah.
All right.
We'll get it there. That'll happen.
All right. I will say this: if anyone does drop their honey hole or a secret hunting spot on here, I will edit it out so everyone doesn't know about it, just so we're all clear. I didn't say that before we started to record, but I know Chris has a lot of secret spots out there, and Mike, I'm sure you do too. That's just the name of the game. But
with the announcement by the PGC today and what they're going to talk about in their spring session, a lot of people say they're going to quit hunting. So I'm going to hope they're going to share all their secret spots with us.
Yeah, how about that? Maybe we pivot to that. I mean, this is a pretty big. A lot of things happened since our trip. Again, I just want to recap the Steelers.
Yes, let's talk about the Steelers, Chris.
Steelers made it to the playoffs. They lost the playoff game, and we lost Mike Tomlin. So, and he didn't die, but we just quit. So, sad day. I could play the taps in the background if I could, but yeah, a lot happened. And then, Chris and Tony went on a special duck and goose hunt, which I don't think many people know about. So that was pretty successful.
Super secret hunt.
Super secret hunt.
Super secret.
And then today we found out the agenda for the 2026-2027 Pennsylvania Game Commission, which I think ruffled some feathers.
Definitely did.
Sure did.
I was kind of it was the talk of work for about, I don't know, an hour. Walking around, people are like, "Hey, did you see?" And I'm like, "I didn't see, but I heard." And then I did some reading on my own, and it is pretty interesting. Whenever it first kind of popped up, and everyone was talking about it, and moving the deer hunting a week early before Thanksgiving, I assumed that it would overlap with bear season. So, not the case. So, I don't know. What do you guys think on it?
I hope it would have overlapped with bear season. I think that would have been a net positive overall. But yeah, pushing the bear season earlier, and that rifle bear season is going to go on the last week of archery deer season. I don't necessarily love that, but I think that in general, today is the type of day that I made myself known on Facebook Hunting Pennsylvania pages, just by listening to everybody crying about wanting to go back to the traditional Monday opener. And then, oh, you already screwed this up and you're not even getting us that option yet. And, oh, there's no deer. There's not going to be deer left if you do this. It's absurd. I can't deal with it anymore. But I'm trying. But I'm still involved in still commenting.
Well, I get the argument I don't understand, and maybe it's just because I don't have a camp of 50 guys that everyone goes to on the first day. I just don't understand why you still can't. Oh no. Chris has got a shit. I don't understand why.
Away from his bathroom. He had to turn his heater on. His house is probably freezing up there on the hill.
Had to turn my heat on. Get a little chilly.
Okay, there it is. What I don't understand is you can still do those camp weekends and still get the hunting in. I don't know. I understand people want the day where they go out and put their tree stands up and do all that stuff, but I just think that most of the hunters nowadays are taking it a little bit more serious than maybe they did 20 years ago.
Yeah, I know that. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's been a tradition in Pennsylvania for a long time, so that kind of change is probably hard, and it's going to take probably a few years for it to kind of fizzle out. That's my only thought. I don't care one way or the other. I just want to hunt. That's all I care about. I like having Sundays. Doesn't really matter to me when the first day is. I don't bear hunt. And I know what Mike said. He's got some concerns about it, which I agree with. But
yeah,
nobody likes change.
I agree with Chris. I want to hunt. I want to hunt as much as I can. I want as much opportunity as I possibly can to hunt. And I think that's what the Saturday opener gives, especially with young kids that are going to get into it and having more time to hunt. I go to camp every year for bear season. So the weekend before, right, the first day rifle. And we're a camp divided. I like the fact that I go to camp Friday night. I hunt Saturday morning, or I hunt Saturday all day. I can hunt Sunday if I want to, and I come home and I'm back home Sunday night, back to work, back with the family. I know my brother and my dad would probably prefer it to be a Monday opener for bear, still like it used to be, where we'd go to camp Friday and hang out Friday and Saturday, watch the Steelers Sunday, and then hunt. it's within our own camp. There's different viewpoints on it. I like to be efficient with my time. So going up Friday, hunting Saturday, Sunday, coming home is good for me. They see camp more as a place to get away to, and I see it as a place to go hunting at. So it's definitely different. I think the Saturday opener for deer for rifle season is excellent. I love it. I love that I get Saturday and Sunday to hunt, 2 days in a row to hunt without having to take time off work if I don't have it. It's also beneficial for me with Ohio hunting season and rifle season starting Monday after deer season like that. I just started doing that. I wasn't doing it beforehand, but I just started doing it, and it's great. But I do know a lot of people that go to camp. They want that weekend at camp before deer season starts. I get it, but I think if you're saying that's what I want it for, that's a selfish reason that's non-related to hunting, as opposed to my opinion, which is selfish, which is for hunting, which is give me more time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know that you need more time in the tree stand.
I need as much time as possible in the woods to harvest the deer. Yeah, there's no joke there.
No,
I should have my coffee mug, Chris. I don't have my bad.
You
hunter,
definitely should.
My bad hunter coffee mug you got me for my birthday.
I actually thought you would bring it just because it was talked about so much.
I think I left. I think it's at the office. I think I left it there so Chris can see me drinking out of it all the time at work.
Yeah, I mean, not that, I mean, we could talk about this for days, but I just feel like the hunting camp stuff went away way before we did the Saturday opener. I don't know. I feel like there was so much going on recently. People weren't doing the hunting camp stuff like they used to. I mean, you used to be able to drive around, I mean, on Saturdays and stuff, like during the hunting season, and see just tons of people at camps and whatever. And I just don't think you see that. And that was before they moved everything to Saturday opener. So I don't know. I could be wrong, but I mean, I understand the tradition behind it, but I just don't understand this day and age, with times changing, and it seems like there's a lot more to do and a lot more things people are doing on a daily basis and a weekly basis and a yearly basis. There's a lot more things to do and hobbies and events, and with kids in sports now, it's insane. I mean, you could probably attest to this, Mike. Like, I don't have a child in sports right now, but I see it all the time. Like, that's a 7-day-a-week thing now.
Yeah, it definitely can be for a lot of people. So I think that Saturday opener is excellent. And I know that, I mean, even my nephew who wanted to start hunting this year, he couldn't hunt the first day of Saturday because he had basketball practice. Like, it's not as religious as it used to be, right? The first day of rifle season in Pennsylvania was a holiday. Nothing happened at all. And I know we still have that day of school off, right? We still have Monday off for our kids, but it's people don't look at it the same way they used to, and that's a change of the times. And that's why I like the Saturday opener in general.
Amen. Yeah, I would like to see this Sunday. I would love to see this Sunday for turkey and waterfowl. I know there's going to be repercussions of that at some point, and I don't really know what the definitions of that would look like, but we'll see what happens in the future.
The turkey one, that's really the only one that's got me a little fired up.
Why is that?
I don't want my second tag taken away. That's a selfish
Chris is addicted
reason.
to turkey hunting, so as many turkey tags as he can possibly get, he does.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Western PA has a pretty stable turkey population.
Yeah,
I know out east it's a little bit different. I have a friend who hunts out east, and he usually gets a bird, but it's just they don't have the numbers that we do here in the west side of the state. So I don't know. I don't know what that would mean as far as harvest. Adding that would be what, 4 Sundays, 5 Sundays. Yeah. How much would it affect the harvest rate? I don't know. Do they know? I don't know.
So, I don't think they know.
No, I think the harvest rate on that second tag is something like 6%. I think I read it's incredibly low on that second tag, but you're basically giving 4 more days of hunting to people that can't hunt during the week, right? Yeah. So that's a significant increase in opportunity, which I would assume would lead to a harvest increase more so than 6%.
I'm sure it would go up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much?
Yeah, I mean, I get why they want to pull that tag back, but I don't know if that'll do enough to offset what happens on Sundays. But the thing, I don't care about Sundays for for turkey season because I'm lucky enough to live really close to turkey hunting, and you can hunt for an hour and still be at work. Like that's what I like. Actually, I hate getting up early for turkey hunting, but it's nice that I could do it every day if I needed to and still be at work by 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's a benefit to the early season.
That's valid. That's valid. Yeah. I'll be interesting to see. I mean, that again, another topic you can talk about for hours. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the future. I know. Do either of you guys plan on attending or writing any letters or putting your 2 cents into the game commission?
Not me. The turkey things are really the only thing that I'm going to pay attention to, but it's not that much of a not that much of a big deal to me where I'm going to write in or anything.
Well, Chris, if you just fill your first tag and you don't have a second one, you'll have to go to another state and hunt.
That exactly.
Yeah.
I'll just go to Maryland or West Virginia or New York or wherever.
Or somewhere you haven't killed a turkey yet. I'll continue to be a Facebook warrior because I enjoy my arguments on there, and I think pointing out people's blatant wrongness, it's a lot of fun. I got called out today by a guy that said I apparently don't know how I don't hunt public land and I don't know how to hunt deer, and I probably never shot a deer. He said that. I was like, well, you're right about one of those things. But that's what he told me. I was like, you're crazy. And I'm having the argument like there are plenty of deer. This isn't going to kill all the deer. And he's telling me I don't know how to hunt public land or private land. It was very confusing, but I might write in support of it. But I think even if it doesn't pass, right, the other option is everything stays the same, and I'm comfortable with that too.
Yeah.
I think the weekend before Thanksgiving opener is just strictly for people that are complaining about, well, I have to do Thanksgiving and then I have to leave to get to camp, and that's all they're trying to fix.
Yeah.
And I think that's their way of fixing it without going back to a Monday opener, which I don't think the majority of hunters, no matter what they say, want is a Monday opener. I think the majority of them want a Saturday opener because it's more time.
Yeah.
So this is the game commission's way of appeasing everybody, but still the people that are Monday opener diehards don't care.
I don't think it's ever going to go back to that.
No.
At this point.
I don't want it to. I don't want to have to take a day off work. I mean, again, this is selfish from my point of view. I don't have that many vacation days. I don't want to burn it. I mean, I do burn them to go hunting, but I don't want to burn it for just a Monday because it's not like it's just you go, especially with a deer. Yeah, it's not something you just, kill, throw in the truck, and you go whatever. I process my own deer. I'm not hunting in my backyard. I have to drive. I drive to my camp. Like, it's time consuming. It's not something. If I kill a deer at last light, it dies, and I'm going to be home at midnight. And I already took a day off. I got to be up in the morning. It's like I like being able to do that on the weekends and take my time, enjoy it, and like soak in the actual hunt. But anyways, we'll talk about that on a different episode. Yeah. So let's talk about what we're here for in the background, this beautiful background, which I could probably sell this photo because it's so pretty. Missouri, the Mississippi Flyway, Misery, as some people call it. I got to ask Chris, you set it up. What made you pick the location? How excited were you to go out there? And what are your initial? Give me your initial thoughts, and they can't be negative. I'll allow it.
I'll just set the stage for how it all occurred. Me and one of my clients, I was doing a training, and he actually saw my tattoos and asked me if I hunted. Started talking about waterfowl hunting, and he told me.
Do you want to name drop this guy so that we can send him hate mail? I'm just kidding. I'm totally joking.
No, we were talking about it, and he said, him and some guys went out there, and they did pretty well on the hunt. And I asked for the information and called the guy. So this guy, for people who are listening, he just leases a couple of properties that have flooded rice fields, and there's pit blinds in these fields. I don't know. He has 3 or 4 of them. I mean, the blinds were nice. Flooded rice, Mississippi Flyway, not far from the river.
What, like
So
20 minutes, probably what, 10, 15 miles from the river? I mean,
Yeah.
we were
if
in it.
that,
There's no question about it. We were where I would
Yeah.
expect we'd want to be.
so the area we were in was prime for sure. I don't know if the weather played a role. I know the week before we left, it was in the 70s for at least 5 days.
Yep.
It got cold for a couple of days. It froze up a little bit for 2 days, and then it warmed up when we went out. So did that have something to do with it? Did that warm spell have something to do with it? I don't know. But
Yeah.
we saw ducks, we saw geese, a lot of specks, and again with where we hunted, I don't know how much time this guy is giving these blinds. One blind might get a couple of days rest. So, these birds have been getting shot at for a month.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Obviously, we're in a much bigger flyway than where we live, and you're hoping for fresh, not according to Chris, but you're hoping for fresh birds to come into these fields, and I don't think we got that, unfortunately.
No. I agree with you. I think the weather played it. I feel like we were just in a hole, an empty zone of birds.
Yeah.
Arkansas was probably loaded up, and northern Missouri was probably better than where we were. I think it was just unfortunate timing, which is a lot of what waterfowl hunting is.
Yeah, it's going on any hunt anywhere. And I didn't mean to grill you too hard there, Chris, to begin.
No.
It was I think there's so much you can't control when you go on an out of state hunt, especially if it's planned like that. I was fortunate enough that you invited me many months beforehand, and I mean, you're like, hey, this is the weekend this is the time period we're gonna go, and it's like when we get close to it, if he says, hey, there's no ducks, or hey, it's all froze up, we're not going, and that's the name of the game. You just gotta hope and pray that the timing is right, and like I think the setups were pretty sweet. I mean, I've never been out west to hunt, but I think that me personally, I think there was a ton of potential there, and I would be very happy to go back to that guy, even though his communication wasn't the best. But
was there any communication?
It wasn't the best, but I mean,
No.
it was still a really cool experience. It would not. I've been on worse. We talked about those. I've been on worse, and if you've listened to the podcast, any of the listeners, you listen to the ice fishing stories about how we just trudged through snow and ice and didn't catch any fish for 3 days straight. It's kind of similar, Most of my outer state stuff isn't that great, and it sounds like I'm not the only one that has that kind of issue because you guys have had some not so great out of state hunts as well.
Yeah,
in other places.
Yeah,
we're probably batting like 44, like 400. Really, we've had like 2 good out of state
for waterfowl trips. Yeah, we've had. Yeah, that's probably accurate.
2, and then 3 that weren't ideal. 2 of those were weather related. One of those was I would call guide related.
Yeah. This was probably a little bit of a combination of both. Maybe not as far as the actual hunting. He could have been a little bit more communicative with me.
Yeah.
But when I talked to him, and I just based it off, I looked at the past few years. It had been so warm in November and December everywhere. For the most part, for the last few years, didn't seem like anything was freezing permanently, even in the Dakotas. So that's why I made it in January.
Yeah.
In the hopes that, it's been so warm, maybe if we do it in January, we'll get some cold weather and get some birds. But it did get cold. It did get really cold. The Dakotas froze up, but then it got warm. It was just weird. Like it's been for the past few years.
Yeah. And based on some research I did, it sounds like as soon as it gets super cold, freezes, and then it warms back up on those major flyways, they have no problem going back north. So, it's not uncommon for same group of birds that went south, miles and miles south. As soon as they feel it's starting to warm up, they're like, all right, we can head back north. And then if it refreezes, they're going back down. So there's a good chance, like you mentioned, those spreads have been out there for a while. If guys were hunting those some of those ducks that we did see fly over or pass by, I've already seen that spread and got shot at out of a similar situation. You know,
Yeah, I think when you and Tony went for a ride, Chris, it was like what, a dozen setups just like ours.
Oh yeah,
and then it's just you can't blame
permanent
anybody for
spreads
that.
everywhere.
That's the area, and that's how they hunt. It's just without fresh birds, it's going to be pretty pressured, pretty tough.
Yeah.
So for the let's go kind of let's backtrack a little bit for the listener who maybe doesn't duck hunt or does not know much about duck hunting. You know, the major flyways in the United States, I would say Mississippi's probably, in my opinion, probably the most famous for ducks and migrating waterfowl. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah.
So I mean, it wasn't like, again, we went to the Mecca. We went to the Mecca of waterfowl there, and then I would say the Atlantic Flyway is close first. You know, second, maybe tie first.
I mean, I kind of want the what is it, the Pacific or the Western Flyway? I've seen some pretty good YouTube hunts out there.
I'm saying Atlantic's last.
What?
Well, Chris, we don't.
I've hunted the Central Flyway. I've not hunted the Pacific Flyway, but I've got to go last.
You're saying the Atlantic's last, but if we lived in Maryland, it'd be a whole different story of what it's like. We live in between two flyways. We're like the no man's land between the Mississippi.
You're right. You are right.
So, I mean, we've had some pretty phenomenal hunts in the Atlantic and saw a lot of birds. So I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we live in a bad part of the Atlantic Flyway. Maybe it's better than the Pacific Flyway. I don't know.
We don't live in a flyway. We just have birds that sometimes fly by us. That's it. Like, well, I would agree. I think, well, I mean, if you were to base on experience, our Atlantic Flyway trips are better than our Mississippi, but we've done one in Mississippi and the weather was bad.
Yeah.
You know, we've done 4. I don't know, would you call Ontario the part of the Atlantic Flyway? Probably, because they're going to kind of come over from central Canada over across. So I think that we've had good hunts there. We've seen a lot of birds there. We just had one hunt in Mississippi, which didn't go well.
Yeah, and I've hunted the Central Flyway 3 or 4 times, and a couple of times it wasn't so great because of weather, because of it being so warm.
So I mean, we were, I guess, in that. Oh, hold on a second here. Pulling up a map of the flyways just to, and I can post it on here so everyone
There's just like a black area over Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah, West Virginia. Just put a black marker there.
Big old. So we're technically all part of the Atlantic Flyway.
I don't know. This has been one of my better years in a while. For sure.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, how many times did you get your limit this year? I've just Matt. Let's just go straight ducks.
On ducks, just once.
Oh,
on ducks, geese.
I was a part of that one.
You were. That was a good one.
What about geese?
3 for sure limits. Yeah, Mike and I had a hunt, you and I, and then last weekend, and then Matt and Tony and I almost shot a limit in early season.
I guess
several.
And granted, we're doing the scouting and stuff here, and we're spending the time here, so I mean, I'm again super biased, but like, I guess what I'm trying to say, it is possible around us, even though we are not in a major flyway. There's killable birds, like. Birds are killable. Like, that's the cool part about it. It's like when you do hunt and worry, if you scout decent, you're going to put yourself in a position where you might not see 1,000 birds, but there's a great chance you could see 100. And of those 100, you could have a chance at 90% of those. I mean, that's the cool part, I think, around here is like, yeah, you might not see the thousands, but man, I mean, when you do see me, there's a good chance you're going to be able to kill them.
I'm gonna be positive here.
Hey,
I should record this. Oh, you are recording.
Traveling to all these places is really cool, but I see that it's all pay to play. Like if you want to have good hunting ground as far as waterfowl goes, you're probably gonna have to pay for a lease.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna pay a guide. It's where we hunted on the Eastern Shore, or I hunted out west, where we hunted on the Mississippi Flyway. You're probably gonna have to have a lease. It's probably extremely hard to go knock on doors and get permission in those areas. So in that sense, I am glad that I live here. And if you scout, a lot of times you're going to be able to knock on doors and get permission. Not always, but.
And that's, I guess, you kind of driving home the point of what I was trying to, like, the full circle here is, like, in our area and in this area, there's not a ton of pressure. Like, there's a lot of positives. There's not a ton of pressure. Yeah, the winters have been pretty mild, so things aren't freezing up. You're not missing half the season because things are frozen up. I know I was talking to my father-in-law who's been hunting ducks and waterfowl for a while, and he's like, "Oh yeah, like things used to be frozen up so early. You didn't, unless you were hunting on the rivers or something, you weren't really hunting waterfowl late into the season. Now you're able to hunt until damn near last day. So I think it is a cool. I don't know. I'm pretty positive about where we're living and about some of the opportunities we have around here to hunt waterfowl. And I hope that people don't think like, hey, you have to go, to some crazy cool, flooded timber spot in Arkansas or some flooded cornfield up in Missouri to go duck hunting or get a good experience with it. Like you can do it locally, and there's a lot of places around here. We still have a lot of ducks and particularly geese. I mean, the amount of geese around here, I would say, continues to grow over the last like 10 years.
Yeah, I think we're not at the whim of when can we all get together and go out of state to hunt, right? If Chris finds birds somewhere, we figure out, A, do we have time this weekend to hunt them? And B, do we have permission? It's not like we have to be like, all right, guys, we can only waterfowl hunt these 3 days in December. We got to make it happen. We can kind of figure that out. And well, I like the early season's fun, right? It's before deer season, gets you back out in the woods. And then, if I don't have a buck on the ground, I'm focused on deer, but it is always nice for Chris, like I've got geese, and then I can make a decision whether or not I want to go hunt them.
Yeah.
Like it's nice. I don't have to be like, oh, I got to go now because it's the only chance I'll get.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess in that aspect, it's right. We can't just expect to go out every day and find a spot and then hope to see ducks flying by us. You've got to put in the work, but kill more ducks than I ever thought I'd kill.
Yeah. Oh, same. Yeah. I mean, 3 years ago, if someone would have said like, hey, you want to go? I mean, people would say that, my father-in-law would be like, hey, do you want to go duck hunting? I'm like, there's no freaking ducks around here. Or you talk to people and they're like, oh, you duck hunt around here? And, when I was at the Ducks Unlimited banquet, 4 years ago, I won't name the individual. He's like, oh yeah, I'm probably the only one in this room that's ever got a limit. And, now that I've been able to hunt, it's like, oh, there's actually a lot of people in this room that can get a limit, and more people in here don't hunt, but probably don't really know where to hunt. Or, getting permission, Chris, I know kind of going to that topic is like, you've had a lot of success knocking on doors. And I know for deer, it's different because people are pretty sacred to the deer hunting spots, and now it's gotten harder and harder to get permission to hunt places because people are leasing it up, or, there's a lot of people I respect too that do give permission and don't let anyone else hunt it. But if you want to touch on that a little bit, Mike, you too, on getting permission to hunt spots is, I would say, much easier for ducks than deer.
Chris can speak that better. He knocks on a lot more doors than I do.
Yeah, I usually start with turkey hunting.
Okay.
Most farmers are going to be cool with it. I haven't had too many turn me away because they just don't care. There's not as many turkey hunters as there are deer hunters. And that's always kind of a little leeway into deer hunting sometimes. Like I told you, up in New York.
Yeah.
I started hunting that farm, turkey hunting. And, a couple of years went by, he got to know me, and then he said, hey, do you deer hunt? And he invited me up this fall to deer hunt, which was cool because he has a lot of ground.
Yeah.
And he had guys hunting in the past, and they stopped hunting, and it just worked out that now he lets me go hunting. So, but, with the geese, it's the same thing. Most farmers want them shot.
Yeah.
So, as long as you can coordinate with other guys that might have permission or whatever, then that's usually not a big deal.
Yeah. Do you run into? I mean, I know probably more often than most people think, but do you run into a lot of people that are kind of competing over the same areas for geese in particular?
We've had a couple of issues in the field early in the morning for sure.
Really?
Yeah. One instance, we had permission from the farmer. I was talking to him that evening, watching the geese, and me and Mike and other guy were there. And I don't know, we got there at 4 a.m. We're all set up. It's 6:30 now. It's almost daylight, and here comes a bunch of vehicles pulling into the field. And we went over to talk to them politely. There was, I don't know, what would you think, Mike? 8 or 10 of them?
Like 8 of them, I'd say.
You know, and I typically would be like, okay, let's just hunt together.
Yeah.
Let's not. It was just too many guys, too many for the field. They were not happy. You know, there was an argument. We walked away, and then they ended up leaving. They didn't leave in a polite way, but yeah. And there's been a couple other situations like that weren't that bad, but
that was my first goose hunt. First waterfowl hunt ever was the one Chris is talking about, and then we shot a limit. And it was
we ended up
awesome.
shooting a limit. I ended up shooting a band that day too, actually. Yeah, that'll be a memorable one. But you know, it's just stupid to get in an argument over that.
Yeah,
but it happens.
If you don't mind me asking some more details on this, because I am curious, like what did they do in like an unpolite way when they left?
Well, they peeled out of the farmer's. The farmer had a pull off by his field, and they were just peeling off down the road, blowing their goose calls, yelling obscenities, right past the farmer's house.
Right in front of the farm.
Right past his house.
Lived 20 yards off the road, and they were doing it right in front of his house. It was not good. It is a bad look for hunters and people getting permission to hunt somebody's property for that type of thing to go on.
Oh, yeah.
It was an awful experience.
Yeah, because that farmer doesn't want to have to deal with that type of drama. So I'm assuming, did you guys continue to hunt there over the years, or that was a one and done?
No, I still have permission there.
Cool.
Yeah, it never became an issue with the farmer. I did talk to him about it because I just wanted to clear the air. But yeah, haven't hunted there in a while, but
just haven't had geese there to hunt. That's
just
all.
haven't been birds, and I really haven't scouted it as much as I should.
Yeah, there's the I guess kind of on that topic of kind of landscape and what you're looking for, or what the geese are looking for, and ducks when they're in the fields, kind of getting away from the water stuff. You know, obviously, you know, when we were out in Missouri, everything was flooded. Around here, people aren't flooding their fields. We don't have rights to flood, and people aren't spending the money to flood cornfields around here. You know, what if someone's out looking for a spot to go find some ducks or geese in a field? What are they looking for? Are they just looking for the ducks themselves and the geese, or are they looking for a particular crop pattern, or crops themselves, or landscape?
Well, first thing is they need to stay off Q's property. That's first and foremost.
Yeah, I can't give away too much here, Chris. Come on.
Well, listen, you know, we're gonna help the people out. I would say, you know, I mean, realistically, just real quick, for someone to get into waterfowl hunting, it's intimidating. Like, if you didn't know, Mike, if you didn't have Chris here, you know, for your first time, would you have done it?
No, I wouldn't have, because Chris had. I mean, honestly, I wasn't going to invest money in decoys and lay out blinds and all that stuff without any idea what I was doing. There's no way. So I'm glad that, you know, Chris was able to show me how to do that, and the folks that Chris learned from were able to show him how to do that. And that's really the only way I think you get into this. Now, there are people that might be like, oh, I'm going to go on a duck hunt, and then they go on one with somebody, and they like, you know, an out-of-state hunt. They like it and realize I want to do this close to home. Spend the money, but it's intimidating. Like the setup that you need for geese, you can kill them off a couple of decoys, but you know, 20 full bodies and a bunch of silhouettes is better. Yeah, and it's expensive. So I mean, Chris had that set up whenever I was starting, so it was great.
Yeah, I guess that's the deer hunting. We all grew up around it. I think it's just the culture around Pennsylvania. It's just a lot of deer hunting and stuff. waterfowl hunting, not that many people do it. I think it's mainly because one, they don't really know much about it, and two, it's pretty intimidating to get into something you don't know much about, and there's not that many people until you get kind of connected, and there's always a network, but until you get connected with a couple of the right people, it is intimidating. So, Chris, without giving away your spots, if you were gonna tell somebody who's maybe thinking about it, what are they looking for?
Well, as far as goose hunting, the best thing to do first is to look at the seasons, because you're going to have some transition between seasons and what the birds are doing. So early season is a great time to get out. A lot of local birds, they're going to be hitting fields at some point, wheat fields, hay fields, sometimes cut corn fields. And it's before deer season.
Technically, that's called like resident season. Is that correct? Resident season.
It's just early goose season.
Okay.
And we're in the RP zone, the resident population zone.
Okay.
So you get to shoot. You can shoot 8 during that early season.
Okay. And that's usually in what, September?
September 1st is always the start.
Okay.
Usually goes to the 25th.
Okay. And you're looking for more water? Are you looking for crops? What do you?
I mean, yeah, you can find them on water. But again, hay fields, wheat fields, when they cut corn for silage.
That's whenever the getting gets good, as they say.
Yeah. And then as you transition into October, wood duck hunting.
Yeah.
Beaver ponds, creeks. That's we're hunting creeks for woodies.
Yeah. And
that's an easy hunt. It's that you don't need 100 decoys and blinds, and you can just stand against a tree on a creek with a shotgun and a pair of waders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of scouting. I mean, my woody hunting, I've never used decoys. I usually scout, and I'm like, oh, okay. There's some spots. Again, super blessed where I'm at. But there's some spots we've seen, going back to a roosting spot, seeing like 200 some woodies, and then well, that's freaking cool to see. We don't ever hunt that, but you can kind of get an idea of where they're flying to, and look at a map, and then kind of look at a stream or something, or a beaver pond. I always think those are easy to find on your satellite maps. And I've never used a decoy on for woodies, and I've had a ton of success doing it, and that's a really fun hunt too. And it's a little different, they come ripping in. There's not like your traditional stuff you see on
right,
online, and they come flying in.
Yeah, you're not going to have greenheads locked up in your face. You're basically pass shooting.
Yeah,
right.
That's just what they do. They just dive bomb in and they land wherever they want.
And it is like they just they come ripping in.
It's like you're shooting at little fighter jets. That's what it's like.
Yeah, a lot of missing going on.
Yeah,
especially with me. I don't know about everyone else.
A lot of missing. We had a bunch of misses our first day this year, Chris.
Oh, sure did.
Yeah,
they're tough because they're not, they might come by you, but they might not be within range, and you get where Chris and I do a lot of our wood duck hunting is you've got 15-20 minutes maybe of where like I'm going to see ducks, and if they don't come by in range, like that's all the ducks you're going to see. They cut the corner and go past us at 40 yards. We're not going to go down and jump them off the creek. Like it's incredibly difficult to do.
Yeah.
Especially with private property, because we don't have any rivers around us. We're hunting streams, or we have access permission from the landowner. It's like we saw 30 ducks and didn't fire a shot, or we shot a limit. Like it can be either way.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
When it comes to finding spots, I think it can be easier now with OnX or whatever hunt app you have. I mean, you can find bodies of water, find a river, look for those little backwashes, flooded areas, and just go scout. That's just like anything else, but with waterfowl, it's very important to scout, because that's the only way you're going to find birds. So, I mean, if you're just starting out, that's the best thing I can say to do.
Yeah.
before you go and buy a trailer and a bunch of decoys like some idiots.
Exactly. Yeah, I think scouting for ducks is actually kind of some of the fun part of it. It can be difficult, but I've enjoyed it almost as much. I would say maybe even sometimes more than, and because I'm new to it, than deer. I think scouting for deer can get frustrating sometimes because you're usually just hunting sign. You're not actually. How many times have we not trying to hunt a particular deer or an area, and it's not that you're really seeing the deer itself. You're seeing sign and assuming or hoping that there's a big mature buck there at that area. Where when you're duck hunting and you're scouting for ducks, it's not very often I'm not going up and like, oh, hey, there's a couple feathers laying in the water, which sometimes I've done, but it's like, oh, there's ducks there. I have my eyes. Okay, I have an understanding what to expect and my expectations are. And sometimes that can be a bad thing because my expectations are way up here and I go the next day and I don't see anything. But I think that can be the kind of the fun part of it too. It's much the process seems to be quicker. It's more of the excitement level. It seems a lot more instant gratification than deer.
Yeah, you find that X,
we're
you
not
find
hunting
the birds
trophy
are,
ducks.
and the next day you're on them.
Yeah,
we're not hunting trophy ducks or trophy geese. Like a goose, is a goose, a duck is a duck. We're not like,
Right.
oh, there's a rub there, but it's on a 2-inch diameter tree. That's not exciting to me.
Yes.
It is nice when you get out in a field in the morning and you're figuring out where to set up and you look down and you see goose poop. It's always like hey, they were here one time.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll come back.
Right. Yeah. So I think that's the cool part of it. But I guess anything else someone should look for, or someone that's listening to this that might be interested in getting into it. Any other tips or tricks there for?
Don't hunt the
No,
roost.
just looking at the seasons, making sure you know when the seasons are, scouting. Probably number one. It's probably the number one and most important thing. I mean, the only way you can find birds is by going out, finding creeks, rivers, ponds, fields with birds.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, nowadays there's so many options for decoys, that will fit your budget.
Yep.
If you don't have a lot of space, buy a bunch of silhouettes. It doesn't have to be 8 dozen full bodies that cost $50 per decoy. Like, so there's options for every budget.
Yeah, duck decoys aren't as expensive, and
when it comes to duck hunting, it's a little easier. But you can get into some of the robo decoys that we buy.
The rowboat. You guys want a rowboat?
Well, I think what's the difference really between duck and geese, in my opinion, and geese, we like to have as many decoys as we possibly can out because we want to get their attention. We want them to feel comfortable when they come into land. When we're duck hunting, we already know that the ducks are coming there. And like Chris and I went out last Friday and we had a nice little opening in the ice. It changed overnight, but we were like, 2 or 3 decoys is all we would possibly need here. If the ducks want to be here, we just want to give them something to make them feel comfortable. Whereas with geese, there's cut cornfields everywhere. Like they could fly right over our heads and go 200 yards up into the field. We need to give them a reason to land right here in this field. I think that's the real big difference between ducks and geese. Other than shooting at a jumbo jet versus a fighter jet, that's the difference. I can still miss both, but
yeah, and that's a good point too, because this hunt this past Saturday, hunting a pond, my fear was the geese were just going to land right in the middle of the pond. And I was talking to the other guys. They're like, oh, which decoy should we put out? I said, put them all out. Put every single one out because we want to pull the birds to us. And we were hunting geese and ducks, but I was more concerned about the geese. I just said, put them all out. So we can try and pull the birds in for, kill shots.
And it worked.
4-man limit.
That's pretty sick. And kill shots, usually trying to get them within 40 yards. I would say under 40 would be ideal. But what's the distance you guys are thinking? 40?
40 yards is a long shot at anything.
Yeah.
Long shot. 20, 30. Like our hunt, Chris. That was
insane.
in our face. That's what we want.
that was too close for comfort almost. I didn't know what to do.
You also didn't know what to do when you had 30 ducks flying over your head in Missouri, which I love.
Yeah, it was well, yeah, we should jump back to that actually. Missouri. We got off topic a little bit, but yeah, so yeah, I definitely panicked, didn't know what to do. I also don't know if I could have done anything with 30 ducks flying around me and just one duck making noises. Probably wouldn't have been ideal. But I did panic. I have not been in a situation where I had because you can see them coming from so far away. Like we could see them like in this picture. I mean, you could see them coming over the trees. You're like, oh wait, there's our ducks. And then the anticipation of them coming right at me was insane. I was the video I have of the GoPro is hilarious because I am trying to call the both of you just because I thought you were behind me in the truck, and I'm like, what should I call or should I just sit here? And then every time I'd call Chris, it would go to the number you've dialed has been disconnected. And then every time I would call Mike, he wouldn't answer. And I'm just in there. I'm like, motherfucker. And my phone was like, I ended up tossing my phone over, and I'm just like kind of hunkered down there. But
next time, call the ducks. Don't call us.
Yeah, I should have. And honestly, the one group that I should have shot, they were close enough. But again, kind of the same thing happened to me last night. I was kind of waiting for the perfect shot. I was kind of waiting for them to kind of just settle right in on the decoys, and I should have shot. They were like 20 yards, flew right by me. Should have just. But yeah,
hey, we all make that mistake.
Yeah, it's almost seemed too good to be true.
Mike lets me know. Mike lets me know every time I make that mistake.
The only time that you know the exact right thing to do is after it's already done.
That's facts.
Right? That's
facts.
it.
Yeah. I was telling Chris before you got on, Mike, I hunted and I had a couple come in, and the first one came. He was going to sit right on top of the decoys, and he got real close to him, and I was just getting ready to shoot, and then he flared, and the one that was coming behind him, I'm like, oh, he'll drop. I'll take him. And he did the same thing, and I'm like, oh, they'll come back around. No, they didn't. They ended up dropping like 75 yards away from me. I was like, damn it. But yeah, let's go back to Missouri. I know we went way off topic. Just want to talk about, kind of first day, what our expectations when we got there. I think we were all pretty, as we were rolling through, we didn't see many ducks or geese as we were going through Kentucky, but as soon as we got to Missouri, it seemed like, bam, like we got close to that Mississippi River. We started seeing some ducks and geese flying. The place that the guy had to stay, it was a camp. I mean, I wouldn't say it was anything special. A couple of people didn't want to stay there. It wasn't the cleanest, but I think in the morning we were all pretty pumped. We didn't know what to expect for the blinds either. I think Chris, you and Matt went out and looked at kind of where we wanted to be. The guy kind of showed it. I guess what was everyone's expectations for in the morning? I know mine were like, hey, we're going to get a limit by 7:30 in the morning. What else are we going to do the rest of the day? But
that's what we were talking about, was what are we going to do after we shoot our limits, right?
Yeah.
And Chris was jamming out to Katy Perry, so his expectations, I think, were really high.
Dude, vibes were high.
When Chris's vibes were high, it actually brought me up, which made the 11-hour sit in a steel box in the water a little longer, but
our vibes were so high going into that blind. We were jamming out. We had some great tunes on the way in. We had about, just for our listeners, we had about a 25-30 minute drive from our we did not stay in the camp. We ended up getting an Airbnb down in Arkansas, which is about 30 minutes away, close to a Pizza Hut. So on the way in, vibes were high in the morning. We got into our spot probably a half hour before sunrise.
I mean, I think we did, and then we probably got there. I think shooting light was 6:47. I want to say something around there, And we got to the blind maybe 10 after 6. It was our first time in there. It was bright dark. We're trying to figure out how do we set up in this blind? Where do we put our guns? What do we do? And then Chris is doing his standard walking around staring at the decoys, trying to figure out what he needs to do and picking up decoys and throwing them. And I don't think we were all in the blind and ready at legal shooting light, but there weren't any ducks blind at that point, so it was okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The just so again for the listeners, where we were sitting, how many dozen decoys do you think were out there already sitting?
Probably 10 dozen at least, maybe 15 dozen.
Yep.
And all different variety of ducks. Wasn't like, hey, there's a group of mallards there. It wasn't, teal and pintail and there were some specks behind us as well. But they were all kind of, other than the geese were kind of doing their own thing. But, for the most part, everything was just kind of like thrown in there. Is that kind of what you guys expected whenever you, was that kind of expectations there? Okay.
Yeah.
And we got there, we heard, we got set up, as you mentioned, Mike, as far as the decoys moving them around. We didn't really start seeing ducks until a couple minutes after shooting light. I think we saw a couple fly over, and then we started hearing gunshots around us. It was kind of intense there for the first,
Yeah, first thing in the morning, there was definitely some shooting going on.
Yeah.
Which raised my expectations a lot too. Assuming, those ducks are getting shot at there, they're going to bounce around. But yeah, it was really, really slow.
Cold. Weather was good. It was cold. It was it was colder than I thought it would be. Windy, very windy too. I think we had steady wind. We had north wind, which was like
we had good wind both days we hunted.
Yeah, good wind. But we didn't see our first like shootable ducks again about 20 minutes in, and then we didn't have. That teal. What time did that teal come rolling through?
It was 8:30 probably.
Was that
it was a good while? It was a good while after shooting light.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah. So we had a teal come through, coming from the right side toward Chris. Chris was kind of the spotter. I think we kind of maybe messed up a little bit by having our heads up above the blind too much at the beginning of that hunt.
I would say that we were we lacked precaution the way that we would normally set up here.
Yeah.
I think there was an expectation kind of that, hey, this blind is semi-brushed in. It must be perfectly fine for hunting out here.
Yeah.
And we don't need to worry about, our heads sticking up a little bit. And it was tough because sitting down was uncomfortable with the way that those blinds were closed on us. And standing up, your whole, chest and shoulders are above the blind. It was kind of difficult. So we moved around quite a bit, and we were visible to the ducks more so than we probably should have been. Not necessarily that deterred ducks, I don't think, from coming to us, but it didn't help.
Yeah, it didn't help. We did have a couple come kind of surprise us, and we jumped down in there, which maybe if we were sitting, they could have, landed, or, again, hindsight's 20/20 there. But would you guys have done anything different with the blinds? I know we brushed them in as the day went on, but would you have done anything when we first got there, knowing what you know now? Would you have kind of, assuming, brushed in a little bit more and maybe set tighter?
Yeah, the overhead cover could have been better. And we kind of worked on that as the day went on.
Yeah, I think we all came to our senses there after a couple hours.
Yeah, well, I think I lost my mind for a couple hours, and then when it came back to me, I realized, well, we should probably do something about this, and I think we did. I think it definitely got better, but we couldn't prove that because we didn't have enough ducks to get an opportunity to see if they were flaring off from us or what. Because it seemed like none of those ducks wanted to be where we were.
Yeah,
right.
They just didn't want to be there. They had been there before. They knew what happened in that flooded rice field, and they didn't want to come back. And we were hoping for those fresh birds that never saw the spread, never saw the field before, and they just weren't there.
Yeah. And that blind could probably fit, I'm gonna say, probably 8 people comfortably. You think? Maybe not.
It definitely could have fit 8 to 10 people. I mean,
Yeah,
there was room for 2 guys between you and I. There was room for maybe 2 guys between me and Matt. Those were big setups. I mean, they were legit. Like those are pit blinds in a flooded rice field. Like everything about that was legit. It's just the ducks.
Yeah.
And then the cover, but the ducks.
Yeah.
Really the issue.
Chris and Tony went for a little jaunt, I think, just to get some fresh air throughout the day there. And Mike and Matt and I, we sat through the whole day. And we had a couple opportunities. Like we had some ducks come. We had this pintails come in, and we probably should have shot. Probably looking back, maybe could have tried to pull off a shot on the 2 that came in, but
you got to assume it's like what I said earlier. You only know what to do after it's done. Like expectation was they would have come closer to us, so we were waiting, and then they just peeled out of there.
Yeah, and it happens so fast. Like for anyone that has never duck hunted before, it happens. I mean, by the time you see them and you have to kind of make a decision on what you're going to do, it is quick. Like, in my opinion, at least. And even though you could see them, coming from a ways, when they would surprise and just pop in, you got to kind of make a reaction and decide on what you want to do there. I know I kept kind of joking around, being like, "Call to him, boys," but like, you don't always have to call to him, and you don't really necessarily need to. I think in most situations out there, but. Or maybe you guys disagree, or what are you guys' thoughts on that? Calling to them and
yeah, I mean, that's hard to say. I mean, when you're on the X, most of the time, no, you don't really need to call that much.
Yeah,
but in our situation, I honestly don't. I couldn't say. I don't know. I tried to figure out if calling was doing anything. It didn't seem like it mattered.
Yeah,
I tried not calling. I just think we weren't where they wanted to be, and I don't think it mattered how little or how often we called.
Yeah,
that's just, I guess, my opinion.
Yeah, and then there's always the question too of like our decoys, right? Like we know the full body floaters had been there. Are the spinning wind decoys helping us? Are they scaring birds? Those are the like you look on YouTube. Every bird from Canada down to Arkansas has seen spinning wind decoys. Okay, so should we not have them and risk them not seeing us from 300 yards away, or should we have them and risk them spooking off? Like, I don't know how many times we say, "Oh, we should shut that off," or "We should turn that on," or "We should get rid of that thing," "We should shoot that thing." Like, do something with it. We don't know.
Yeah. How many times did I walk out there and turn it off and turn it back on?
Let's talk about Chris walking out there. You want to talk about that, Chris? So let's talk about this teal that I was the only person in the blind that didn't shoot at the teal. And I'm proud to say I didn't miss that teal because I never saw it. Everybody said, "There it comes," and everybody stand up and start shooting and saw it.
I don't think Chris shot either.
No, he shot.
Oh yeah.
I didn't shoot.
I did shoot at
okay.
it. And,
you guys each got 1/4 of a teal, and I was
going to say, I think one of my BBs definitely. I'm pretty positive one of my BBs because I aimed about a mile up to the right of it. I'm definitely sure I hit it.
I think each of us got one BB in that teal.
Yeah. So Chris had to.
Kuhar, Chris Kuhar, by the way.
Plus that pond. A couple hundred yards, right?
Oh yeah, that was a
huge across field. That pond, and Chris had to walk damn near to the entire other side of it. And unfortunately, it's only shin deep, knee deep at the most.
Mud.
But it felt like it was 40 minutes of Chris trudging across this pond, trying to get to this freaking duck. And then we see it start moving. He's got to, shoot it again, and he missed. He's gonna shoot it again.
Well, it was swimming away, and those were far shots.
So then, forever for him to get back. And then it since we're talking about Chris walking across the pond, we'll talk about when he lost his mind and just decided to start walking across the pond to scare those rails away that were in the exact same spot that dead teal was. And we're like, "Hey, we're trying to hunt ducks here." And Chris is standing out in the middle of the pond, walking around chasing birds off that we can't shoot.
Oh my.
The frustration was setting in.
Yeah, I know. You needed like a Snickers or something like calm you down.
The sad part about that frustration is I think it was before 10 o'clock.
No, it was.
I'm just kidding.
It was getting pretty late at that point.
It was in the afternoon, I think. I don't know. But yeah,
No,
that was-
I whenever that warm front hit, my expectations got really low.
Oh,
And
okay.
then Mike and I were checking the weather like daily. Mike would text me and be like
hourly.
the ducks are going to be on the beach with their pina colada because it's so warm. And I'm like, calm down. So I mean I think that warm spell really did affect things. But then when we got down there, we were still expecting pretty warm weather. But I was surprised by what good weather we had, but it just didn't matter enough. Because I don't know what it was. What was it? It was like
it was in the 40s.
4 degrees the first morning with
second
20
morning,
mile an
I think,
hour
was a
north
little
winds.
colder. Second morning was in the lower 30s because we took those heaters out the line to stay a little bit warm. And Chris and I we joked about this a lot before the trip, as far as like, the ducks are going to be on the beach somewhere, with drinks with umbrellas in them. But still, the expectation is we're in the Mississippi Flyway. Like, we're not going to see all the ducks because the weather's warm, but we're still going to see ducks because of where we're at. I think so. Even if the expectation was low, it was still, I think, much higher than if Chris and I were like, we're just going to go to a lake in Pennsylvania and hunt. We still thought we were going to see more ducks than that.
Yeah.
And I was even more disappointed with the fact that we didn't see that many ducks. And Chris, your high spirits throughout the entire trip we tried to drag you down and get you down on our level of disappointment and expectation, but your spirit stayed too high.
Yeah. I wasn't going down the negativity path. I try to stay positive.
You got enough out of state hunts with us, buddy. You'll be in the same boat.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've done my own, and I never really had success going out of state. Mainly because I think, like you, Chris, you alluded to at the very beginning, you got to pay to play to go out of state for the most part, unless you put in a ton of time. And we obviously didn't have the ability to drive 14 hours and put a ton of time in. But day 2, I think, morale was low. But day 2, we were going to try a different spot. We hunted all day. We sat, like I said, 3 of us sat all day. Tony and Chris got out for a little bit, drove around just to see what everything was about. And I think you guys met up with the owner, the guy that we were there with. Am I correct on that? Did you guys meet up with him first day?
Yeah.
And so day 2, the teal was really the only option we had at actually killing something. A couple pintails came through.
I called the shot on.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we had no opportunities on day 2.
Yeah. Well,
we didn't.
No shooting.
We didn't. Chris did, but called us instead of the ducks.
Yeah.
Wow, that's true.
I panicked. The day 2. So day 1 in the afternoon, late evening, we had a couple pintails come in, and we did miss. We could have got a couple pintails there. They were tough shots, and I don't really know again I don't think the shot was called that early. I know, Mike, you think maybe it was, but Chris, you're smiling. Maybe you think it was, but
Chris just loves an opportunity to tell me I messed up. That's what it is. But I sat there. Well, Chris, you and Matt and I sat there from 6-something in the morning until the end of legal shooting light in that steel box in a flooded field. And we watched, I didn't see that first teal that came in, and I didn't shoot. And we watched those pintails come by us, and we couldn't get a shot. These ones are coming in, and I thought that one's close enough. I'm not going to sit here all day and not get a shot at a duck that's that close. So I called that shot. And I still don't know how I missed it. I mean, I feel like it was right there at 30 yards and almost standing still, right? Because when it peeled back, it just looked like it was stationary. And I don't know how many shots. I shot 2 with that, and then my gun stovepipe. The third shot, I would have killed it for sure. But I called the shot. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to sit here all day and let it fly over my head that's close enough to shoot at.
That's such a tough shot, though. That straight up is tough.
Especially with that north wind, they just.
I know.
We're able to get out of dodge.
Moving, but they're going. Their just wings aren't moving.
Yeah.
They're not flying. They're just getting taken by the wind. And it
honestly,
was pretty wind.
Insane how fast they did fly away. Like how fast they were able to just hook away after that shot because of the wind. I mean, they just hit that. It was like a jet stream. They were gone.
Yeah, I think day two, my morale was a little higher only because Chris, when we were there waiting the night we got there, we could hear ducks.
Yes.
We were on the road
Yeah.
waiting, and we could hear them quacking over there. We could hear geese over there, like in that general area we were going, which was much closer to the camp than we had the first day. So I think my expectations were that it was going to be a better hunt than the first day. So I think they were higher than they were the end of the first night. But and we did see, we saw a pile of geese.
Oh my gosh.
Like strings of them across the entire sky. And I'm glad I had my binoculars because I wouldn't have seen half the ones I saw. But when I had them up, you just look and just see this faint black line. And then it would get real thick where there were a bunch of them, and then a faint black line the whole way across the sky. I have no idea how to estimate how many geese we saw, but I'm going to go ahead and say it was close to 10,000 between the 2 days.
Yeah.
The number of geese I saw through those binoculars.
Yeah.
It was not necessarily near us, but just in the sky.
Yeah. And the people that don't waterfowl hunt, like I was showing them videos and they're like, you didn't kill those? Like you couldn't call those in? And I'm like, that's not how it works. That's not how it works.
There he is. Now he knows.
They weren't coming anywhere.
No.
And really, the only reason we didn't kill them is because Chris didn't buy a spec call.
He didn't buy a spec call, and he wouldn't let us call to him at the beginning, so we didn't even know. We didn't even know. We
would have killed him.
Yeah, we should have had about 30 dozen decoys out there. That would have helped.
Maybe. We definitely had some low flying groups of geese come over our heads.
That very first group, the first morning at first light, we might have been able to do some sky busting.
Yeah, I know.
And pulled one or two out of that group.
Makes me question how much of those shots around us were sky busting.
Oh, probably a good bit.
Those geese were closer than they were, but I don't think we ever had a goose within 70 yards of us. Straight above us, 70 yards maybe. They look, when you're looking for
they were up there.
Big, they were close, but they were up there.
They were up there, yeah. They were up there and they were far away. And we just, the second day, the morning, we didn't see any ducks there for a while. It was a long time. And you guys got out at 10.
We had two. I think we had two ducks come from behind.
Oh, this pintails. Yeah, I was standing.
Right over our heads.
Yep. Another surprise.
They came out of nowhere, right from the back corner. Just I happened to turn around and they were right there. That was again same thing. I was standing up. My head was above the blind, and we hadn't seen ducks all day, so I'm like looking like an idiot, looking around, and then turn around. Oh God, there they are.
They caught us in complacency. I think after the first half hour not seeing a duck, I don't think anybody thought we were going to see a duck, and we weren't even paying attention to ducks.
Yeah,
4 ducks, and that happened. And then Tony and Matt got out pretty early, and then Chris and Tony got out early, and Matt went with him, and Chris and I got out, and that's when you had your, we were sitting back there watching you, and then
napping.
We had to go to the camp. Chris had to go to the boys' room, and then craziness happened.
I went back through and I looked at my GoPro video, and there was like a 2-hour span where I had ducks flying around. Like you could visibly see them in the GoPro. I saw ducks. So that was cool. But that was from about 11 to about 12:30, 1 o'clock, maybe 1:30, whenever you guys end up calling me and said, hey, we're going to go to a different spot. But I was starting to see some ducks. And, at that point, I watched a group go behind the trees in front of us, which again, this picture here on the other side of those trees, watch them drop down in there. And then, what could I have done differently? I don't know. Probably could have called to him, got scared, but, not that my calling is any good, but I could have maybe tried. And then we went to a spot south of us, about 30 minutes south. So a little bit closer to, I would say a little bit closer to, or a little bit further away from the river. Would you guys agree?
It'd been closer to the river. I think it was a little bit. Oh no, it was a little further away. Yeah, it was.
It was a little west. It was southwest of where we were at.
Yeah, so a little bit further away from the river, and we did hear some shooting when we first got there, and that setup was awesome. I thought that looked sick. They had the rolling top on it. It was a pit blind. There was more decoys than the second spot we were at, I would say.
Mhm.
And we heard some shooting there initially, but we didn't really see shit from that spot at all.
We had one group of, I don't know, probably 20 ducks fly over our heads, and we called at them.
Oh,
They
that's
were
right.
really high. Called at them. We lost them because that blind had the roof on it. We couldn't see where they went. I just kept looking out the back, expecting to see them turning, and they were gone.
Yeah.
We probably heard our quacks and said we've heard that before, and turned 90 degrees and flew straight away from us.
They said, "Peace out. We're heading out of here."
But
That's
I definitely had
probably
expectations. I definitely had higher expectations at that blind. It definitely felt like a different setup. And then, but as we're walking down to it, you can see the side by side tracks, and you can see them driving straight through the water out to the blind and all the in and outs. And you're like, yeah, this has been hunted a lot, which is, I think, what you'd expect on a quote unquote outfitted hunt. These guys are there to make money. They're going to have groups in there as often as they can. But still, there's that expectation that maybe there's fresh ducks down here.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad we went down there. It was, you don't know unless you try. And who knows, we could have sat in that seconds, the spot we had in the morning on the second day, could have sat there all day and we may not have seen anything else. Who knows, could have been great. But yeah, I think moral of the story is you don't know unless you try. And it's not like we could have, there was other people there hunting too. So it wasn't like, I think I suggested maybe it was like, oh man, it'd be nice if, we split up and then we kind of see who's getting the hot spot for that. But that wasn't really an option. I don't believe. So, it's not really much else we could have done except maybe stayed another day and hope that it would have gotten great. But we packed it in and went home early. So, I think everyone was pretty bummed out. But again, I think as far as the success is, like, we got to experience some cool shit. We got to see, I've never seen that many. I don't know if you guys have that many geese flying.
Chris has, because every time you said there's a big flock, Chris told you.
Oh, that's right. I mean, look at that big flock.
Remember that?
That's just a schmedium flock of geese, Chris.
Medium flock. That's Chris. That's not a big flock. Those are just a couple of geese. Not a big
it's only
deal.
400 geese flying. It's not that big. It's pretty small.
Compared to this Atlantic Flyway we're in, very big flock.
Yeah, but at least they're killable here in the Atlantic Flyway. So for the hunter, it makes, I don't care if I see. It was cool to see all those birds. It really was. And the eagles. We saw a ton of eagles.
And a harrier, which I've never seen before. But yeah, the eagles were kind of bothering me. Like, I had the question, okay, so we're right by a standard, like the first day, they had that timber behind us, right? So that eagle clearly liked that spot. And I would assume that ducks don't like eagles. So are those ducks avoiding this area because there's an eagle flying in circles around us all day?
Yeah. I think we saw
ducks and geese off.
Yeah,
I think it didn't help.
Sure.
Well, they're probably there getting cripples. Like, guys, a lot of guys are hunting. I'm sure not every bird gets retrieved.
Yeah. I was actually
easy pickings.
I was talking to Jeff about that, and he said likely, that was actually, we were seeing multiple. That wasn't the same bird we were seeing. Yeah. And he said, yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. And I don't think this is getting talked about so much in the waterfowl world, but like wounded ducks, there's so many more eagles now in the United States than there ever has been. And those wounded birds are definitely getting taken by those eagles. So I definitely think that did play a factor for sure. And knowing that those birds, those eagles, they don't know those are decoys out there. They see a spread of ducks. They also think, oh, hey, like those are ducks in there. If they see something out there that doesn't look right, or a duck not swimming right or doesn't fly away right, they will 100% take that duck. So, yeah, I think that definitely could have played a factor if there were birds flying by and they saw the eagle. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd prefer them not be there. It was pretty cool to see them, and then it's like, all right, eagle, get out of here. Same with those rails. Every time those rails came flying in like a flock of ducks, got exciting for a second, and then nope, those are the rails again.
Yeah, those are the rails. Those bastards. So yeah, as we wrap it up, I guess, is there anything you guys would have done differently? And are you guys looking to go somewhere next year? Is that kind of the plan? I know, again, I got invited into the group that always goes. So do you guys have plans for next year? You guys going to try to maybe go to something similar out to the same spot, or do something more on the Great Atlantic Flyway?
Not
Maybe
gonna
something
do the
like
same
that.
spot, that's for sure. I've got 2 hunts I want to do. Lake St. Clair for divers, canvasbacks
Okay.
specifically. And then I know me and some other buddies talked about doing North Dakota DIY. It's just the traveling portion is what I'm not excited about for that.
Yeah, that's
But
much.
North Dakota is just, that's a state where you can get permission to hunt in certain areas. And actually, if it's not posted, you can hunt it, which I don't particularly like. But I hunted in Maine, and it was like that there too. If it wasn't posted, you could just walk on someone's property and hunt, which is really weird. But that's how North Dakota is. So I don't know. Maybe someday we'll see. That
Yeah.
drive with a trailer just doesn't sound fun at all. So
No,
we'll
you
see.
always have to rent a U-Haul with one of those like U-Haul trucks and drive that out, but also it doesn't sound fun either. So
Truck drivers do it every day, Chris.
ship it out. You ship out all the decoys. FedEx. We'll get
that would cost a couple of dollars probably.
We'll just find a customer that really wants to duck hunt with us, and we'll have them use one of their company trucks to haul them out for us. But no, I don't. We haven't really planned on doing anything. Chris mentioned Lake St. Clair. I know nothing about that other than Tony saying that. I can't remember exactly what he said, but probably like F that. But no, I mean,
F that. I want to hunt Arkansas flooded timber.
Yeah, well, this trip was supposed to be Arkansas flooded timber, but you guys wouldn't spring the cash for me. I would be. We did a couple really cool hunts on the Chesapeake Bay. I'd be open to one of those again. I don't know if we'd talk about that for next year. Those layout boats are fun. We tried to do Ontario, got blown off the water, so we hunted the Finger Lakes, and we saw a lot of ducks, but didn't have a great success there. So, like I said, we're batting 400. It could either keep getting worse or it could get better. So we'll probably end up doing something stupid again next year, and then, it's tough when you want to do it on a budget. You're pigeonholing yourself into where you can go, and we're not all trying to spend thousands of dollars on a duck hunt, which would be great if we could, but we can't. So our expectations, are always high for a potentially great hunt, but in reality, we always know, like, hey, this might not pan out because we've had success. We've had experience with that in the past. I hope to shoot a buck early next year so I can just do more waterfowl hunting around here, honestly.
Nice. I like it. Yeah, inexpensive as far as like tags. Crazy cheaper than a deer.
Yeah.
Or an elk.
Yeah.
Like Missouri duck tag, $50.
Yeah.
Ohio. Ohio buck tag, $500.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Iowa buck tag, $5,000. Like,
yeah. It's definitely like, I like the out of state hunts like this because it's not a one shot and you're done thing. And the expectation of, we have fun sitting in the blind, saying ignorant, stupid things, and just laughing all day long. Even if the hunting sucks, we still have fun. I'd prefer that than, sit in a tree stand all day in Iowa chasing a 180-inch buck by myself. I'd prefer this type of hunt. So we'll definitely do something again, but nothing's planned. I don't know. My wife doesn't want to hear me talk about one more bad out-of-state duck hunt, though, so I'll have to keep it under wraps.
I just have to make sure this next one's good. That's all.
Yeah.
No, I think that's you made a great point too. Real quick on the waterfowls, how it is much more of a you're able to shoot the shit. You're able to have conversation and it is a lot of fun to do with like a group of guys. I'd actually prefer to hunt with people than I do hunting by myself for waterfowl. Deer, you can't really, like, I enjoyed hunting with people. with deer, but it's just not very common. It's hard to get someone to go sit in a tree that, videotaping or just gonna go out there with two people with a bow or two people with a gun. It doesn't happen very often. You're splitting up more, but with waterfowl, that is one of the special things. You can't sit in a blind all day. And even though we didn't see anything, we laughed a ton the whole time. And that's, again, like you mentioned, if you're deer hunting, that can be kind of lost whenever you're sitting and stand all by yourself, not seeing anything, and just texting back and forth about how terrible the time you're having. So
how you pick the wrong tree.
Yeah, how you pick the wrong tree. That's right. How you pick the wrong blind or how you pick the wrong tree. But I know it's getting late here. I thank you guys so much for jumping on. I cannot thank you enough for allowing me to come on the trip with you guys and experience the great Mississippi Flyway. I look forward. I think my season's pretty much wrapped up for ducks up here. Everything's pretty frozen, so I think my duck hunting for the year's done, unfortunately. But on to next year. I know we'll have to do something local again. I trust my guide Chris here to get me on another field limit at some point. So I don't know how much the guys are paying you, Chris, but I'll pay you whatever.
Apparently, I'm not paying them enough because I don't get invited on these super secret hunts.
Oh, that's just a load of crap.
Yeah. No, it was fun, Chris. You'll have to do it again with us so we can just keep bringing that happiness down some. We like people on the same playing field as us, which is just expectations of disappointment, and then can only get better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You guys tried to get me down. I think I tried to bring the morale up. I think I did a good job of that, but I didn't do a good enough job because there was some. I think I even got a little negative at one point, but
no, we enjoyed your positivity in your company.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We appreciated it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Especially appreciated your sleep goggles in the back seat. I hope that you have
the sleep mask. Like a little eye mask?
That should be the picture for this podcast on YouTube. It's not the background. It's you literally sprawled out in the backseat of the truck with your sleeping mask on, an hour into the trip. That's what this should be. So,
well, an hour into your trip, I had to leave DuBois 2 hours because it was a snowstorm. But no, for those listening, if you're traveling, highly recommend eye mask. It's a game changer. Sleeping in the car during the day, I don't care how it looks. It is silky, it is soft, and it is nice and dark.
Good.
Oh shit! And just so everyone does remember, I forget how many likes I said. Maybe 20 likes.
20. We'll drop to
likes.
15.
15. Okay.
15, and we'll release the
if you made it this far, it's just 15. If you heard at the beginning, it's 20. Made it this far, just 15. To hear Tony's podcast. It's a great podcast. It's a good time. I just honestly, it needs to be dropped. So everyone needs to listen to it. I don't know if you guys are going to go hunting this weekend. Good luck if you do.
Thanks.
Those listening, if you do have questions about waterfowl hunting, reach out to Chris Kuhar. He does take people out on Make-A-Wish hunts, and he is a special guy. Easy to work with. Does communicate well. So payment.
Appreciate that, Chris.
Yeah,
doesn't call the shots well, but communicates well.
He does communicate well. He will. No, I'm just kidding. Don't reach out to Chris. That's not very nice of me to say. But no, Chris, thank you so much for showing me what you have. I've hunted with you a couple times. It's been great. And anyone listening, if you are interested in going duck hunting, I'd be more than happy to take anybody. I think it's definitely something that a lot of people would enjoy if they got into it. So it sounds like, numbers are still pretty solid around here for ducks. I haven't seen any of the, declining numbers that I've noticed that have been too big that they're going to drop limits or anything like that. So still a healthy population of birds around here. That's kind of all I have.
Cool. Well, thanks for having us on, Chris. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Appreciate it, sir.
Appreciate you guys. Let's have a good rest of the